team leader implement change in the workplace? Maybe you've been charged with implementing change in your team and you're feeling a little bit lost on how to do it. Well, I've got 5 tips to help fuel your success. Tips that I've learned from working with executives leading change all around the world. Ready? Let's get it. At times, I know it can feel like an uphill battle trying to implement change in the workplace, specifically within your team. You've been charged with this change directive from your leadership, and now it's up to you to make it happen. Working with your team that may already be giving you a bit of pushback. So you're probably feeling the pressure from both above and below. Yeah. I've been there. Well, by the end of this video, you're going to be armed with 5 tips to help fuel your success moving through this change and become aware of what's most important for you to understand. The importance of communication, what you must role model on a consistent basis, and finally, a celebration practice that just might surprise you. Tip number 1. Understand the desired future state. As a team leader, it's so important for you to embrace and fully understand where is it that you're going. You know what Stephen Covey in a lot of his trainings teaches you to think about the end first. Keep the end in mind as you're starting out. And that's exactly what you need to do as a team leader, because you need to be able to communicate to your team where is it that you're going and what will it look like once you get there. How will the team be behaving? What will you have achieved? What will the work look like once the change has been accomplished? Have that really well understood so that whenever you get challenges or questions on what's the journey, what's the vision, where we're going, you'll be able to share that back with your team leaders, and you'll be able to keep yourself on track as you move through the change journey. Tip number 2. Understand the changes required of you and your team specifically. So not only do you need to have familiarity with what the future state is, how the team will look, how they'll behave when they get to the end of the change or make it successfully, but you need to understand what's required of you and your team specifically. What are the specific deliverables that they're responsible for in order to make that change happen throughout the organization? And that, of course, needs to get communicated to every single team member. Hopefully you're having one-on-ones, having those work plan conversations so that they're crystal clear on what's expected of them in order to make the change happen. The worst thing that can happen is that you think the team knows what they're responsible for, what's expected of them, and they don't have full clarity. And so you might find yourself getting frustrated because the results aren't happening, but it could just be because those conversations weren't clear enough and the employees or your team members don't understand what's expected of them. So ensure you're communicating this on a pretty consistent basis. Tip number 3. Clearly communicate expectations and provide feedback along the journey. Once you understand and have really taken to heart what's required of you and the team to move through the change successfully, it's so important that you're working individually with each one of your team members, explaining what's expected of them. How is their work plan going to change? What are their deliverables? What exactly, are they? State them very explicitly in their work plan, and then what's the timing required to deliver it? It's so important that you're sharing those expectations at the onset of the change journey and then making any changes as you move through the journey. Because as we all know, so many things can change within a change journey. So make sure you're having those one-on-ones. You're providing that feedback and sharing those expectations, especially as they might change. And again, speaking of feedback, once you're in these one-on-ones or even in team meetings, let individuals in the team know how they're doing against those deliverables and if things need to change based on what you're seeing results-wise. This is a great way to make sure that your team is staying on track with what's required of them in order to make the change successful. And they're so very important. And it also allows you the opportunity, as the team leader, to stay in tune with how the team is doing, continuing to have that pulse check with each one of your team members. Understand and make sure they're crystal clear in the expectation, and then providing that feedback, either where there needs to be a little bit of a change or positive reinforcement. By the way, if you're getting value from this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do videos like this all the time, and I want to make sure as soon as a video drops, you're notified first. So click like, subscribe, and even the notification bell somewhere on this page. All right, let's get back into it. Tip number 4. Role model desired behaviors. So often when we're going through change, there's certain behaviors or actions that need to change as we go through the workday. And it's so important that you as a leader can strive to role model what those behaviors are. I can remember when I was working in corporate and I was advanced from being a sole or single contributor to being a manager of others. And it was the first time that I experienced having to influence others in order to get work done, having to get work done through another individual, something that you're dealing with right now. As a leader, just understand what are those actions, what are the behaviors that are actually going to make that change a success, that are going to get you to that desired future state, and make sure you are role modeling that for your team members. Tip number 5, celebrate both your successes and your failures. These celebrations are a great way to positively reinforce the behaviors, the actions that you're seeing that are actually going to get you to that future state, and to acknowledge the mistakes, the failures, such that you can celebrate the learning that happens from them. It's so important that we keep ourselves very open-minded to potential failures, setbacks, or mistakes when we're going through change, because they're inevitable. They're going to happen. And grant your team a bit of grace when that does, but acknowledge them. And most importantly, acknowledge what that individual or what the team can learn moving forward from that mistake. And you might even share out those learnings to the rest of the organization or up to your leadership. When we can learn from the things that don't go well, we're going to be better prepared moving into the future. So leverage that whole celebration practice, not only when you want to positively reinforce behavior that's looking good, that's actually going to be a part of the future state, but also those mistakes or those failures. Notably, the learning that can happen when those mistakes or failures are made. Okay, so if you got value from that, I got something else for you, and it's completely for free. So I led a keynote engagement with one of my clients somewhat recently, all around leading through change. And I want to share a snippet of that keynote recording with you. It's when I was talking about how to lead and engage others when going through change, something that's very relevant for you as you're striving to implement change with your team. And it's yours today for free. All you got to do is click on the link below and it'll hit your inbox. I want to make sure that you have the research, the data, and the insights to successfully fuel your growth through even your most difficult change challenges. I'm Cassandra Worthy, and until next time, keep growing and keep rocking.